You're right, guys. Welcome to my Premier League predictions for the 24-25 season. Now that the transfer window has wrapped up, we can have a quick look and see at my previous predictions that I did before any transfer business was done back in like May, and now what we're looking at in September. So, of course, we should have a pretty good picture now. We've had a few games, 2 or 3 games just to see how things are going for a few teams. So let's dive straight into things. Kicking things off with a cheeky bit of Arsenal, who it might be the year. It genuinely might be the year that I really want it. Like City just winning the league every single season is getting quite boring now, because at least when Man United dominated, you had the Arsenal and the Chelsea, and you had the Blackburn season. With City, it's just been really boring these last few. Like Pep just needs to go now. It's getting boring. I'm bored of City just winning it every year. So it probably will. I'm going to leave Arsenal second or third or fourth for now, and they may move up later on in the video. But I think signing Sterling's actually a really good move for them. I think that's a really, really good signing. And I'll come to Chelsea in a minute. I don't know. Anyway, Arsenal, a number 9 like an Isak or something would have been nice. But, all it takes is for City to drop a few points. You've got Calafiori, who's a good, good bit of squad depth to have, possibly a starter going forwards. I think the Rice red card was really strange against Brighton. That really baffled me. But yeah, let's put Arsenal second for the time being. Did put them there in my early predictions back in May. Then we got Bournemouth, who have lost Dominic Solanke. I did have them in about 10th to 11th-ish. They have brought in what's his name? They do a great comeback against Everton. It's the one from Porto. It is Evanilson. That's, yeah, sure. They've got Sinisterra obviously on a permanent now. Semenyo Cliver. It's a good team. Obviously, Kepa in goal's a bit of an interesting one. But yeah, it's a good upcoming squad, that Bournemouth team. And they may sneak into there, but I'm gonna put them in 13th for now. Just they're not gonna get relegated, but they're not gonna push for Europe. They will probably just go for this mid-table kind of finish once again. Then we will go to Aston Villa, who have had a very good transfer window, to be honest. Signing Onana, who else did they bring in throughout the window? It's very good signings from Aston Villa all around. Barkley's a smart little signing for Europe, having that kind of squad depth. Who else have you signed at Aston Villa? I'm just trying to remember everything that's happened over the last, few months. Ian Maddison, really good signing. Philogene from Hull. Yeah, I can see things going again. With the extra European games, they are going to struggle a little bit. So that's why I put them down into 7th. And they may move up, don't get me wrong. But I'm gonna leave them there for now. And they may move up shortly. Then we do have Brentford, who have lost Ivan Toney. But they did bring in Thiago, who is sadly injured. But they've had a good start to the Premier League season. 2 wins, 1 loss from their first few. But obviously winning against Southampton and Palace. Not exactly the most incredible. But I do really like Thomas Frank. I think Thomas Frank is a good enough manager to keep them just about in the league. And they didn't really have Toney last... Like, how many goals did Ivan Toney actually contribute last season? Can't be that many. So, essentially, they've already had a go at it. Yeah, he only scored 4 goals from 17 games. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're missing him. Do you know what I mean? And if anything, they're bringing in a striker. And he'll be back by November, December time, I think. So... yeah, I think Brentford are probably just glad to get the money for Toney and now move forwards as a club. They can look to invest it in. Brentford are a very well-run club, so I don't see them. They're very similar to Bournemouth. They're not going to shoot much higher, but they're not going to get relegated. So I will leave them right there. Then we will go for Brighton, who've had a terrific start, really good start with the their new manager, which I have lost his name. It is I know he's 31 and I know he's German. And once I see his name, I'll go, yep, that's the name. It's like Herzella. There we go. Fabian Herzella. Probably butchered his name. But yeah, they've made some good signings. Brighton's signings that they have made have been really good. You know, the likes of Rutter, really good signing. Ferdy Kadigoglu, really good signing. Matt O'Reilly, really good. Vifa from Feyenoord, really good. You know, it's a very good project that, you know, there's very, very well ran clubs at the minute in the Premier League, and that's what you got to do to stay in this division. So yeah, Brighton will finish in Europe this season, I believe. I think they do have enough squad depth now to do it. Might be a case of that, but I think because they don't have any European football, I think they will finish in those higher positions. So I'm going to put them there. Now this one is probably the most, I don't know, like, I don't know how, like, Chelsea fans at the minute, other than Cole Palmer, you know, Madueke's doing well, don't get me wrong. There's not a lot of good positives at Chelsea at the minute. You'd think with signing the likes of Nkunku, João Felix, they would be a bit more inspired, but I don't see how it all comes together. Pedro Neto, a very good winger signing as well. I just don't see how it all comes together. That's the issue. You've got too many things going on. I don't see it go. Where did Chelsea finish last season? Because honestly, I just don't see them improve. Like Pochettino, where did Pochettino finish with them last season? I think he did rather well, Pochettino. Yeah, he got them 6th place. I don't think they have Europe. They do have Conference League, I think. Yeah. Yeah, they get Conference League football. And I think you think about it that way, that Chelsea didn't have European football last season and they only got 6th. Now that they have European football, they're going to lose a few more points. And the likes of, you know, your Brightons and Villa are so much stronger than Chelsea as squad-wise. Like, I would take Brighton Villa's squad over Chelsea's squad in a heartbeat. You know, they have much better teams. So, yeah, I'm going to put them about 10th to 8th kind of thing. That'll probably be them. Then Crystal Palace have lost Elise, but they have signed Kamada. They have signed, who have they got at centre back? But they have lost Anderson. So it's evening out a little bit with Crystal Palace. But I think with Glasner as the manager, they should just about do okay. Yeah, just looking at their squad now, you know, Wilkie's in that midfield, great player. But the fact they're still playing like Nathaniel Klein, still having to play him, those are the kind of worries that you have with a squad like Palace. You know, if you lose a Gahey, you lose a Wharton, you lose Mateta, you know, you're going to have issues. Eze as well. Obviously, Ismail Assar's a good signing for them for squad depth. I do quite like that. So yeah, I'm going to go for 12th for Palace. Then we've got Everton, who have lost all 3 games so far. It's the loss against Bournemouth, which is a little bit concerning. But I don't see how they get relegated. I don't see how Everton get relegated if they keep Sean Dyche. It's such a kind of cheat code. He just doesn't get teams that have got quality. Like, his only relegation with Burnley was with a very weak Burnley team, and he didn't go down. Do you know what I mean? It was like, he wasn't the issue, it was the players. So I don't see Everton going down. You know, these early, only 3 games isn't a really good sign. So I'm going to put them in, you know, the lower mid-table kind of areas again. Southampton, I think, are locked in for relegation at the minute. I'm really surprised they didn't go in for James Ward-Prowse on loan. I'm surprised he's gone to Forest. That's what I'm concerned about. Is you look at the team that they have, like Ramsdale, good goalkeeper. Jack Stevens, Bednarak, Colwood-Bayliss, that's all Championship quality. Walker-Peters, Premier League quality. Aribo, Championship. Flynn Downs, he's good, don't you? And Smallbone, Ben Burett, Diaz, Adam Armstrong. It's a very championship level squad. There's not many like incredible players. Do you know what I mean? I think if Ward-Prowse was in that squad, I'd be a little bit more confident, but I don't see how they stay up, to be honest. I really don't think they're going to struggle this year, so I'm gonna put them there. Fulham, Marco Silva's done a very good job over the last seasons, because things could have gone very badly wrong losing like Mitrovic, but they steadied the ship quite nicely. Muniz is doing really well. Raul Jimenez as well. Iwobi. They've got Smith Rowe. Hopefully he can add a few more goals and assists this season to the team. And they have signed Joachim Andersen from Palace. So they've weakened a rival and strengthened themselves. So that's, I don't see why Fulham would finish any lower than that. So we'll go for that in the positioning, which I did have them down here, to be fair, before in my early predictions. But I think with what they've done in the window, I'm actually quite impressed. Then we've got Ipswich, who've been playing very good football. And I think for that reason, I'm going to put them up to the lower mid-table. It's the first season that I'm not worried about with the promoted teams. It's the second season with the teams that have the momentum. Like Southampton only just got up in the playoffs. Leeds realistically should have won that final if they played well, but they just were dreadful. So yeah, I've gone Ipswich to just stay up. I think with McKenna and the squad that they do have, they should just about do enough. Leicester City won't be getting a points deduction, but I still think it would have been locked in 100% more if they were with that. I'm just not that inspired with the squad that Leicester have. Like, I look at the team against Villa. Vardy, about 37, Ndidi, Jordan Ayew, Harry Winks, Skip, Faze. It's not an improvement on the team that got relegated with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, the team has probably slightly decreased in quality since they were last in the Premier League, and it's a very similar level team. So I really don't see, Steve Cooper is a really good manager, but he's going to have to work a miracle to keep this Leicester side up, I think. So, yeah, I'm going to go for them for relegation. Then we've got Liverpool, who, on slot, honestly, he's slotted in perfectly in these first three games. Really good, convincing performances from Liverpool. Against Manchester United, they were never in it. Easily put aside Ipswich and Brentford. So obviously after the international break, they've got Champions League stuff. But there's not really a tough Premier League game for them until end of October against Arsenal. Yeah, and then it does actually get Arsenal, Brighton, Villa, and then City in November. That's going to be a tricky November. By the time you get to December, you'll probably know who is going to be winning the title, because if Liverpool can get through those kind of battles, they could do very well indeed. So yeah, I'm going to go for top 2, top 3 kind of finish for Liverpool at the time being. It's boring, but Man City will win the league again. It's boring, but it will happen. It's just the way things are at the minute, which is quite frustrating. So, yeah, I'm going to go for Manchester City winning the title again. There's nothing you can really say. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing like going, oh, yeah, somebody else might win it. Like, if Liverpool keep up this form, obviously, if Arsenal... Like, these are the 3 for the title, but City are just so much more in every department. Like, Liverpool, if they pick up a couple of injuries, because they've only signed Chiesa to add to the squad, so it's do you know what I mean? It's a good signing. Is it enough? That's my problem. Then we've got Manchester United, who I like what Man United have done in this window. My issue is of what they've done previously to this window with the likes of Casemiro. If Casemiro can go to Saudi in the next few weeks, great, because that will actually improve their league position. If they keep playing Casemiro, that is where issues are going to be. And I think everyone can see that, and that's the frustrating thing. with the club at the minute is you can see what the problem is. And maybe Ugarte comes in and replaces Casemiro really well. But I just see Liverpool, Arsenal and Brighton at the minute all better than Man United. So I'll leave them in, 5th to 6th at the time being. Then we got Newcastle, who they might just sneak that. Do you know what I mean? And things might move around. But Newcastle haven't done... Tonali's back this season, which is a good signing, essentially. But I really like Eddie Howe as well. I just don't see how Newcastle as a club can get... I guess without the European football, they will have that extra bit of energy. What have they signed? They haven't signed... Like, Will Asula's such a weird signing for Newcastle. Like, why have you signed him? Yeah. There's nothing like... Yeah. I think about 8th. 8th, possibly 7th, possibly 6th for Newcastle. They might do really well, don't get me wrong, but I just struggle to see them doing better than the teams above them. Then we got Forest, who probably will get relegated this season, which will be delightful. I do like Nuno as a manager. Again, Forest have signed probably about 8,000 players, haven't we? Let me count all the players that saw at Forest. Yeah, James Ward-Prowse is a terrific signing. Like, I can't fault them for that. I really don't quite get why West Ham have moved him on like that. It's a little bit of a more manageable squad. Still a bit... Yeah, I think my unbiased head puts them there. I would quite like them to get relegated, though. I think with the squad, though, I just don't see them getting relegated. But then who does get relegated is the question. So my unbiased head puts them here. My biased head puts them there. So we'll leave them there for the time being. Tottenham Hotspur. I'm going to go for a top 4 finish for them. Honestly, with the signings that they've made with, the likes of Archie Gray, who else there? Solanke. That's going to be a much more better improvement than Richarlison. Timo Werner still on loan. I really like Ange. Honestly, Ange Postecoglou is a terrific manager. And yeah, it's his second season. So like the fact that he finished in European places last season gives me good confidence to see them do well this year as well. So yeah, I'm going to go top 4 for Spurs. Then we got West Ham, who again, it's about there. Those 3 are about even. They've done good business, West Ham, but I'm not massively convinced with Lopetegui. Is my issue. The likes of Rodriguez from Betis, still playing Mikel Antonio up front. But yeah, Fulkrug, if he can actually start some games. Somerville, if he can keep up the form that he had last season, it could be a good season for West Ham, and they might finish in the top 6 if things all click in the right place with Fulkrug and whatnot. But realistically, it is probably about a 10th place finish for them. So yeah, I think, and then Wolves to finish off, who again, I like Gary O'Neill, but they're in this kind of bracket because of the lack of investment this season. They've lost Kilman to West Ham, and I just don't see... I think he's just about got enough to keep them up, but it's going to be a tricky job for Gary O'Neill. But I just fancy Wolves more than Forest, just because, bias-wise. So yeah, I kind of want to go for those 3 as the relegation 3, and then Wolves just outside Ipswich. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I think that is what we're going to do for my Premier League predictions. I think that is the... What's the way of saying it? Like, it's the is the most realistic outcome, I think, for me. You know, you could maybe move a couple of them around like that, you know. Something like that is probably what's going to happen, you know. These are the ones that float around a bit. But I think Villa with the extra games won't do as well in the league, but Brighton without the games will do better. Manchester United, if they can get Casemiro out faster, they might get top 4 and then Tottenham move down. It's, you know, it's those little things that just make all the difference. But for the time being, that is how I'm going to leave it. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy today's Premier League predictions. We are going to be uploading a lot more on this channel, so make sure you do subscribe, of course. Let me know any other videos that you want to see on the channel. Drop a like if you did enjoy, and we'll catch you all next time.